In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create your first Java application using a set of free tools and just the Java runtime environment and the tools that come with it. So we're going to make a simple Hello World app. It's going to show you the steps involved in creating, running, debugging, just a basic, simple Java program. So by the end of this tutorial, you should make a Hello World app. I'm going to show you how to include a few things and what some of the keywords mean, as well as a couple of shortcuts to work with the command prompt. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I need you to do is you need to check to make sure that Java is running on your computer, or that you have it installed to begin with. So if you're on a Windows computer, and I'm demonstrating on a Windows computer because that's what we have in our computer lab, but it's a very similar process on the Mac and Linux, so you can adapt it if that's what you have at home. But for now, I'm going to click on the Start button in the lower left, and I'm going to type the word Java. And if in your list you see About Java pop up, go ahead and click it. This will say that it's basically already installed. So here I have version 8 running, and that'll be important for later on. And you should note that, for instance, you have version 8 update 20. If yours varies from this, it won't matter that much. If you're running 7 or 8, even all the way back to one of the really old versions, the Hello World app that we're going to be making today will work. So if you don't have this, you're going to need to download and install it. So where do I get that at? Well, simply go open up your favorite web browser. Here I have Chrome, and I'm going to Google Java download. And what you're looking for is java.com/download. That's going to take you to Oracle's page where you can download and install Java for yourself. It's this red button in the middle that'll take care of it for you. It'll give you hopefully the most current version. Now, Oracle is the corporation that oversees Java. They update it frequently, and they provide tools that we have already installed in our computer lab that you'll be using later on as well. So this is a source of not only the tools, but also the documentation that goes along with Java and understanding the whole language itself. So you'll be returning to this site later on. All right, so if you have Java installed, then great, you can continue. If not, pause the video and you continue once you have it installed. All right, so what do we need next? We need a plain text editor. If you're on a Windows computer, you can use Notepad, and you can do everything we're going to do here shortly. If you do want to step it up and get Notepad++ like we have in the computer lab, it's a free download. Just go to notepad-plus-plus.org. The page currently looks like this. The download button is right here, and it's free. And you can develop just about mostly anything in Notepad++. It's a plain text editor. It's got a lot of really great tools in it. That's why we have it in our lab. Okay, so with Notepad++ open, let's start programming something in Java. So on the top line, what I want you to type is public class hello world. And it's going to be just like this. Then a set of curly braces, a left-facing one and a right-facing one, and I'm going to separate these by a few lines. So what do these words mean? Well, public is a keyword. It's a main vocabulary word in the Java programming language that means everything within this container, and by container I mean everything between the curly braces, so between this curly brace and this curly brace is a container, is publicly accessible. And what follows is a class. And as we're going to be learning later on, a class is a description of something. So giving it a name after that point is important, and naming it should follow the convention of being descriptive of what it does or what it is. In this case, it's a Hello World app. It's just going to simply say hello to whoever's running it. So that's why we're calling it Hello World. So it's properly named. So now on line 3, I'm going to tab inwards. And it's a very good custom to get used to using tabs and indentation for readability's sake. So on this line, I'm going to type public again, static, void main. And in a set of parentheses, I'm going to type string with a capital S, args, and a set of square brackets. So a left-facing square bracket and a right-facing square bracket. And outside of these parentheses, outside of the right paren, I'm going to put another set of curly braces. So notice how I have an outer block of code and an inner block of code. And what's going to be important about this, and if you've been in one of my other programming classes, you'll know that the main method is usually where we're going to be starting our program, unless we make some sort of custom adjustment. So this is going to be a very simple main method. It's only going to have one thing that it does currently, and that is it's going to print out to the console a little hello message. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to invoke a system class like this. All right, so system is a class just like hello world, and the way that I can tell is that these are both uppercase. So the H is uppercase in hello world, and because there's two words here, there's no spaces, and each subsequent word is capitalized. But classes, I can tell they're classes is because I consistently capitalize them, and you should get used to doing that as well. All right, so the system class is built into Java. Java understands that it's part of its base library, and it has a method in it called print. So it's going to print hello world to the screen. That's basically all we're going to do for now. I'm going to go ahead and save this as hello world.java. All right, so one way or another, you can click File, Save As, or Control S, and then we're going to save this to the desktop. It's going to pop up over here, so note that too. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. So now I have this brand new Java document that my Java runtime environment can now convert into a working program. But since we're already here, I also want to cover these words. We just talked about public, meaning that it's accessible to whoever's running this. So whoever runs this class, this little app called Hello World, can also start the program at the main method. Static just means that this particular method is accessible to the entire class. Void means it's not returning anything, and this is the name of this method. It happens to be the main method. It's the starter. So what does this mean in between the parentheses? Well, these are parameters. You can think of this as a variable being passed, and we can use it, we don't have to use it. It's kind of an option right now, but it's there if we need to. And I'll demonstrate that here in a few minutes, so we'll get back to this. But this is promising that there's going to be an array of strings called args for arguments. All right, so now let's go ahead and run this application. How do we do that? Well, we're going to use a thing called the command prompt. So click your start button in the lower left and type CMD, and up should come something like this. Now you're probably in your default directory. So here I'm in an example login. Yours might be whatever your student ID is. So we're going to have to change the directory. We do that by typing the command CD, as in change directory, and then just type the word desktop. So that's going to change the folder that we're in. So normally you're probably used to using the Windows file folder structure like this and going to, for instance, desktop that way. But in the command prompt we use CD. Now to see what's in this directory, we already know that it's sitting right there because we can see it visually, but if we couldn't see it, we could type dir, and that's just going to give us a directory listing of what's in it. If you're on a Mac computer, you could type ls. So here I can see that I've got a number of things on my desktop. but hello world.java is the most important one. So we want to be able to run that. Another useful tool that I use is the CLS command that clears. If in case my window gets all cluttered with junk, CLS will clear it out. Okay, so now that we're in the correct directory that our Java document is saved at, we need to set what's called the path variable. Basically, the path is where is Java running on our computer. We need to get to all the commands and everything that will actually run the program. So to do that, we're going to type the word path, and then we have to say where on the computer it is. So this is our location. It's on the C drive, but where on the C drive? Well, if you're in the computer lab, we've installed it into the program files, and there's a little shortcut I'm going to show you here. The tab key, if you start typing a directory name and you don't want to finish the rest of it, hit the tab key and it auto completes it for you. So then I'm also going to backspace and replace that quote with a slash, and then I'm going to type JA as in Java, autocomplete that as well with the tab key. Put another slash where that quote was, and I'm going to start typing JDK, and then I'm going to hit tab again. And that's going to autocomplete whatever version Java we're running. For me, back when I clicked that About window, it said I was running version 1.8, update 20. So here you can see that's basically the directory I'm in. I'm going to replace that quote again one more time with a backslash and type bin, followed by a semicolon. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to type modulus, which is the percent sign, and then the word path, and I'm going to put another percent sign, or modulus. Now, way back at the beginning of this, I have a quote. So I'm going to point out to it right here. I need to take that out. And the reason why that's there is because I was using the autocomplete. So I'm going to delete that. Then I'm going to hit the end key on my keyboard to take me to the end of this line, and then I'm going to simply hit enter. Now you'll see that nothing was returned in here because I did something internally. It set the run path of Java here that I can run Java commands from this directory. That's basically what this line did. It's not going to show you any extra stuff or confirm it. The way I can confirm if it worked is I can use a Java command. So the first Java command we're going to use is javac, and that means Java compiler. So I want to take this file, the hello world.java, and I need to convert it into something that the JRE, the Java Runtime Environment, can read and interpret and use. So that's what the javac command will do. It will compile it into bytecode. So javac space, and then the name of my file is hello world.java. So I'm going to go ahead and compile it. Now, you can see over here it made another file. This is the hello world.class file. This is all bytecode. If I were to open up this with Notepad, you're going to see a whole bunch of gobbledygook, some junk in here. This means nothing to us. So this is stuff that the computer can use, but we can't. All right, so back to this. In order to run the program, I'm going to use the command java and then the name of the class. So the name of our little app was hello world, so it's just straight java hello world, and I hit enter. And my program doesn't do much. It just says hello world back at me. So we'll improve on that in just a moment. But those are the basic commands. You have to set the path, you have to compile it, and then you have to run it with Java. Okay, let's just go ahead and, in case we made an error somewhere, I want to demonstrate debugging real quick. So let's say I forgot to put this semicolon right there, which is a very common thing to do. I forgot to add my punctuation. The semicolon is like a period at the end of a sentence in Java. I'm going to go ahead and save it and just see what happens. So one quick way to run a command that you've already done is use the up arrow in the command prompt. So I'm going to hit up twice because if that was the last command I did, and if I hit up arrow a second time, I get this command. So it wrote it all out for me. I don't have to type it. And I'm going to hit enter to compile it again. But this time, as expected, I have an error, and it says it's on line 5. It says the error is I expected to see a semicolon at the end of that line. Well, I took that out on purpose, so let me go ahead and fix that by putting it back. So I'm going to go ahead and put that back, and that's going to happen. You're going to have to fix these errors as they come along. So if you get a message like this, it tells you right where to go and fix the problem. So now you have to recompile again. So I'm going to put Java C, hello world. And again, I'm using my up arrow because I've already typed that command once, and it remembers it. And if I hit enter and I get nothing here between that line and my next prompt, then everything went well, and I can run the program again. So I'm going to hit Java, hello world, using my arrow keys, and it runs fine again. Alright, since this program isn't that interesting, let's go ahead and show you how you can add a few things to it, and I also want to show you how those arguments work. So let's go ahead and add a field variable. We're going to make it private, so only this class can know about it. That's basically what that keyword means. It's going to be static, so the entire class can use it, and it's going to be a string. And we're going to say that the string is goodbye. And then I'm going to end that statement with a semicolon. Go ahead and save it. Well, before I run it again, I'm going to go ahead and test that that variable works by, I forgot to put the name of it right here. So let's just call this the goodbye string. So now I'm going to go ahead and use it. I'm going to put it right here, save it again, and run it. So now instead of saying hello world, it should say goodbye. And there it does. It says goodbye right here. Okay, next up, how about we use the main method's string arguments. So whatever the string argument says is what we're going to output. So let's just not use this variable at all, and we're just going to put args. And we'll just put the first argument. The first argument is at position 0 in an array. Now we've already covered arrays in the class, so you should know what that means. And I'm going to go ahead and just convert this to a string just in case, if I can spell it correctly. Okay, so it's going to look like that. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to go ahead and do something special here. Here I'm going to compile it again. All right, no errors, that's great. But when I go to run it, I'm promising to pass something as a parameter. So I'm going to say hello world. All right, so here I'm saying Java, run this class called hello world, and then what I put next is the parameters that this main method is taking in. It's taking in a string. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and it basically says back whatever I put after it. Now just to prove that that can change, I'm going to say Java is awesome. And it says Java is awesome on the next line. Now I did that as one word with no spaces because this is a set of arguments that is it's going to make every string that I give it into its own element in an array. So just to show you the difference, I could say Java hello world, Java space is awesome, and all I get is Java, because this is going to be the first element in that array. Okay, so now let me show you what you can do knowing what we've already covered in other languages like C#. So the syntax is very similar. So if I wanted to make a decision, you can use an if-else structure. So let's say if the say if args 0, I'm going to go ahead and convert that to a string. If that equals hello, like that, and that is a capital H, then we'll go ahead and print hello to the screen. Otherwise, and that's done with else, print goodbye. Alright, so here we're going to have to put in some arguments, and it's either going to be saying hello or goodbye. Let's go ahead and save it, and we'll run it. So there's the good old Java C hello world.java, so that's going to compile it. And now we're going to say Java hello world, and we'll say hello with uppercase H, and it says hello back. Let's run that again, but I'm going to put test. And since I put something other than hello, it's going to say goodbye. Okay, so we can use an if-else just like we did in C#. What if we wanted to repeat instructions? Well, repeating instructions is done with loops. So to make, for instance, a for loop, we could make one like this. The first thing that we put in the for loop is we have to declare a variable. This is going to be our control variable. So we're going to make an integer. We'll set it equal to 0 at the beginning of the loop. And we'll continue the loop as long as I is less than 100. And we'll increment I by 1. So if I put I++, it's going to go up by 1 every time the loop repeats, just like we did in C#. Okay, in between the curly braces is what's going to repeat. So let's say system.out.print Java is awesome. And with a semicolon at the end, I'm going to go ahead and save that. And I'm just going to run the same thing again. Oh, I forgot to compile it, so don't forget to do that as well. Just need the straight Java compile. So Java C hello world.java. And let's go ahead and run this again. Java hello world. Now if I put Java hello world.test, I need to put that because I had arguments that it's trying to figure out up here. So I'm going to say test, so that means it should say goodbye, and then it's going to say Java is awesome 100 times. And there it is. Okay, so there's the goodbye, and I'm going to assume this is about 100 times. Okay, so we've done a lot of things here. Now, one other thing I wanted to show you is why it's necessary to use public. Let's just convert this to private real quick. Now, I could never think of a reason of why you would want a private main method, but this just shows that anything in this container that is set to private, so again, this, if I shrink this down in Notepad, it shows what's in this container and what's not. But anything private, just like in the real world, if it's private, it's hidden, or it should be. So you can, if we try to run this and we set the main method to private, it's going to say, I don't know what you're talking about, and it's going to give us an error message. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you that. So I'm making the main method private, and I'm going to recompile the program. If I recompile, all is well. There's nothing illegal about doing what we did. Everything's fine from a logic standpoint, but if we try to run hello world, it has no main method, it has no start. So I'm going to run Java hello world hello, and it's going to give me an error. And the error is main method not found, because it's now hidden with the private keyword. So we have to convert this back to public, and then save it. Oops, I hit the wrong button. And now it runs again. So I have to compile it, and I have to run it. And there it is. Okay, so this is the program I want you to turn in at this point. So you'll have a decision structure, you're going to have repeating instructions, and it's going to be called Hello World. So go ahead and upload those two files to the Google Classroom, and you'll have completed your first Java app.